So this time let's make a jump, shall we? Traditionally in in 2D animation, we would, or in 3D animation, we'd have this idea of like the person storing up energy and pushing from the knees and jumping up, and we've got this. I'm just looking at this really nice sort of like animation. We can see like all that power and the spring up and everything that's going on there, but because we're working in games, we don't really get that anticipation, that wind up. Not as much because the player, when a player presses jump, they want jump to happen instantaneously. If platforming is really tight and precise, you think about Mario, that jump happens instantly. So you don't really get to have a lot of that. So we're just going to make a jump, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm just going to try and bear that in mind and add that motion, that anticipation, as we're sort of going. What I am going to do this time though as well is let's mix up the torso a little bit and use a bit of puppet pins to sort of add a bit of spring to it as it's going. And again, the thing while we're talking about programming for games, our jump won't actually leave the ground, it's just going to sort of simulate like the leaving of the ground. So I'm just going to add a couple of points and then click on my torso and press U. So as the jump goes on, like I said, quite early on, I'm probably going to want to sort of almost bend down a little bit, sort of like really bring it in. And I'm not going to do too much because the puppet pin can deform quite a lot. So we're sort of going to start, we're going to bend down, and then we're always going to use that to flick right back up and sort of stretch out. So like, and then a little bit of sort of like head wobble as we sort of go in. Not much, just a bit of head wobble as we move around. So sort of go down, flick up, jump, bit of head wobble as we sort of move around. Touch more, rotate you a little bit more, and then let's come back down towards the starting position. Going to bring you guys around here, tuck you in a bit closer there, and let's see how that looks. Cool. And we don't, again, the thing while working when animating with games is we don't actually really know like how long the jump's going to last. I'm just going to animate it for 3 seconds. So as we jump up, there we go. So we've got that. Means we're going to have to do some positional tracking for this, for our head. Maybe we should we could have puppet pinned it after, like comped it and then pre-comped it and put it together, but it's fine. This will probably work better in the long run. It's just a touch more work. So let's just quickly get the face to sort of track as we go in. Switch back to my hand tool. We'll do a bit of rotation as well as stuff after. Could have done with leaving these back up so we can actually see where the keyframes are. So it goes down, 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 flicks up. So this should actually be out here. Just so I'm going to try and match the keyframes. Most of it should track okay. And then let's get this first point as well, and Control C, Control V. I'm just going to use the arrow keys as well just to refine that a touch more. And let's add a little bit of rotation as well to it. So let's turn on keyframing rotation as he appears down. What I'll do is I'm just going to add like sort of a frame delay as well, and that'll give sort of should hopefully make it quite fun. So like the head's a bit separate to what's actually going on. Cool, let's see how that head looks now. The headbang's probably a bit fast, isn't it? Alright, that's not looking too bad. Let's do arms next. So we want to, like I said, generate a bit of force with our arms. Because normally, like a lot of when you jump, a lot of force actually does come from your arms. So let's go for upper arm. So as a starting point, this is actually quite alright for this arm. So let's turn on this rotation and sort of almost pull it around even more. Then as we jump up, we're going to pull this arm round quite quick. And sort of have it flaying around a little bit, not much, before it comes back down to our starting point. I think it comes down quite, actually probably a bit too fast. And then when it's down, we'll actually do a bit of like arm flailing too, almost like it's falling in the wind. So this one's not actually going to end in a loop like most of our other ones have. We will need to do a bit of positional stuff because we've ended up moving the body a bit. So this could mostly be alright. And we'll loop that part. Alright, arm comes round, up, floating around a bit. It's quite nice. There we go. That's one arm done. Well, no, it's not. Let's add a bit more. Let's not be. So also start a bit more there, and as we crank up, then we will sort of turn even more in. I'm actually going to just tweak the anchor point as well a bit on this. A bit more like that. So as we turn up, so let's start relatively straight out, and then we jump up. And then let's start to sort of like extend outwards a bit as we fall in. Just touch a movement, keep it dynamic. think I'm actually going to need to keyframe the anchor point a little bit. It sort of goes a bit funny here. So I'm just going to add some keyframes to this and tweak it a touch. Cool. There we go. That's not too bad. Should we do anything with the hand? Maybe just towards the end here. Not much again, the anchor point's not fantastic on that one, so that'll mostly do. Alright, let's do next arm. It does go underneath. Cool. Okay, other arm. I actually want this to start out here too. Now we can't see this one until about here. Ooh, wrong way. So it like jumps a lot with both arms. Again, just a touch of tweak of movement and rotation, just to keep that dynamic. And then let's bring that down around here as we fall in. And let's do a little bit of hand too. So just flailing around a little bit as it's in the air, and as it goes down, so a bit of like wind resistance. Cool, how's that looking? His hand looks a bit broken. Oh, probably got a bit too much rotation on some of these. So we'll spread them out a bit more. Yeah, it definitely bends down way too much there. Cool. All right, and just legs. So like I say, we normally we do want to sort of take the force down with our legs, but we're not really going to be able to, so we kind of want the jump to almost, and we've got a little bit where we'll add a bit of leg rotation. Probably going to try and do both at the same time here. So as we bend down, we want to kind of position move it as well too. So I'm going to do a couple of keyframes at the same time with this one. Right, so that leg upper, that's the one that we want to position keyframe. You know what, let's just do position first actually. So we sort of want to keep it, oops, just tweak it a touch so as it comes down, then bring it round and up so it comes down, up. And I'm just using the arrow keys to loosely sort of match up where that should be. Alright, position's not too bad. So as we're going down, let's add some of that rotation to the knee. So rotate up a bit that way and want to bring you down. Right, then about at this point we want to stretch it out again. And let's do some foot as well as we go in. Right then, so come back round to brace for landing. You know what, so I should just take you and bring you a bit closer to there. Nice. Still getting a bit of spring in the step, which is quite nice. And then one more leg to go. You know what, let's do position again. Because this is the back foot, we can hide a bit more. We don't need to have to worry about us being as precise. Cool. So as we're leaning forward, we want to bend that a bit. And we're going to want some rotation on this one. Right then, we extend out. Let's do the foot as well as we go in. It's actually had a bit of drift on this foot. It might be quite nice. And then bring that foot back in, bracing for landing. So that foot kind of drifts out quite nicely, and then brace for landing. All right, and let's see. You know what, the arm swings down too fast, but looking at the face is good, the body is good, the legs look quite nice. Let's just slow that left arm down a bit. Left arm upper. Well, we got a rotation. I think it's here, isn't it? That is just, it's just too fast. And let's actually just delete you and bring you around here. Cool. Try that one more time. Cool. It was a nice 3-second animation. I mean, like I said, so how you decide to do a jump animation can be different. You'd probably want like a start and in the air. So just like a falling animation, which you could loop, and then a landing animation. But I think for this, you should sort of do. We don't want to do every single animation, but like I say, you would normally do a falling animation, so one in midair, and you'd have to be able to like, loop that endlessly. Because if this guy jumps off a tall cliff, there might be a large part of the game where he's just sort of in this phase, in this point. But you know, what are you gonna do? But that is another one done.